Today we are doing two college football player props here on PrizePicks for Thursday, August 29th, you guys. It's the real college football slate. I know we had the Saturday slate last week, week 0. But here we are, week 1, college football over on PrizePicks, you guys. Two player props here from the Thursday slate. There's a bunch of games Thursday, but PrizePicks only really has a couple of games on the board currently right now for this video, obviously. But before I get started, you guys, link in the description below. Premium Discord, $9.30 per month, 31 cents per day. Gets all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. Other cappers in there as well post all of their plays. Super positive community in there. Everyone just trying to help each other cash. But yeah, I also want to mention that for this video, this is going to just be a 2x multiplier. There's not enough value on the board currently on PrizePicks. Like, they don't have fantasy score up right now, and I'm kind of surprised. We're less than 24 hours away from this Thursday slate, and there's no fantasy scores up. There's not even receptions for any of these games. So I got two player props that I do like from this slate here. Let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it. First play is going to be a receiving yards prop, and it is from the North Carolina Minnesota game. It's going to be J.J. Jones over 44.5 receiving yards. Taking a look at this matchup, it's a 2-point spread road game in Minnesota. I think there is going to be a little bit of weather. It's not going to be cold, 81 degrees. But I'm hearing some light rain, which I don't think is going to affect the offenses too much at all. But taking a look at J.J. Jones, right? He is thrusted now as a fourth-year player in this offense as the wide receiver 1. Coming off a nice year, 46 catches for 711 yards. Actually faced Minnesota last season at home and caught 3 catches for 64 yards on 4 targets, right? And you can see here, even last season, with Devontae Walker being the alpha wide receiver in that offense, you know, J.J. Jones was able to get decent target numbers, right? Obviously, Drake May is no longer the quarterback in North Carolina. It's looking like it's going to be Max Johnson. So definitely very interesting that, or it's going to be interesting, essentially, the prospect of J.J. Jones and kind of the targets that he is going to see. But he is, without question, the wide receiver 1 in this North Carolina offense. So when we take a look at J.J. Jones over on Outlier, again, there's a link in the description. You get a 7-day free trial. J.J. Jones cleared this line in 8 of 13 games last season, and that was when he wasn't the wide receiver 1. 8 of 13 games, he actually had 37-plus receiving yards in 11 of those 13 games. So 11 of 13, 37-plus receiving yards. All we need here in this one is 44.5, essentially 45 receiving yards. Like I said, going back to last season, Minnesota in the Big Ten, they gave up a decent amount of receiving yards to wide receivers, and if you take away Washington, Oregon, USC, they actually gave up the 4th most total receiving yards to wide receivers last season. Now, taking a look, like I said, back at the depth chart for North Carolina, J.J. Jones is going to be that X receiver, which we know in past history, the North Carolina, their 4th-year guy, the veteran wide receiver, when he becomes that X option, he really thrives. We look at Devontae Walker, I think Josh Downs the year before that. We've seen North Carolina wide receivers, when they get to that 4th year, their veteran presence, they really are extremely productive. But taking a look here, I mean, look at this article that I wanted to share with you guys. I will put a link to this article in the description. Wide receiver coach at North Carolina is calling J.J. Jones, saying it's really his year, right? He's saying it's really his year for J.J. Jones. You can see here, even though he's been banged up, he plays no matter what. He wants to play no matter what. That's a great quality young man, because you're going to feel great the first day of practice. He's the guy that we know if we need a play, we can go to. Ship said we've got a lot of guys in the room, but for JJ, I feel like it's really his year. All right, so 44.5. I think this may be the lowest we do see it all year for him. I think, again, given this game being a two-point spread, should remain close. I think there should be solid game script throughout, although we don't know, just given how last week kind of went with the upsets in college football. But again, that's all we can go off at this time is the sportsbook odds and the money line. In the spread. 2-point spread here in this one. I think both these teams will be competitive this season, so I do like J.J. Jones in this spot here. Like I said, going back to even last season, we saw Devontae Walker. The Tez Walker, now in the NFL, was the number 1 wide receiver, and now here we are. J.J. Jones gets slotted up and is that alpha number 1 receiver in the North Carolina offense. The second play here is going to be the guy Shedeur Sanders. I like his over 249.5 goblin. So like I said, 2x multiplier for this video. There's just not enough value on the board. Normally, again, moving forward, college football, NFL, every video will be a 3x multiplier. But for this video, Shedeur Sanders over 249.5 249.5 passing yards. I think this is an elite value for it being a goblin. I think this might be the lowest we see as pass yards even at a goblin all season. 10-point spread in this one. 60.5 over under or game total. home game for Colorado, which to me is very, very key here. We look at Shedeur Sanders. Last season, he obviously started the season just on fire, right? 5'10", 393, 348, and 371 in 4 of his first 5 games. But actually only went over this line of 249.5 in 6 of 11 games. But if we filter this to at home, right, he's over this line in essentially 5 of 6, only miss being 245, and he had averaging 336.5 passing yards over those 6 home games last season. But why I really was taking a look at these plays and why I like this play a lot here for Shedeur Sanders is, one, I mean, Colorado's going to pass the ball. We know, Coach Prime wants to put Shedeur in position to really thrive, really put up those numbers, right, as I guess essentially as much flack as Dion gets. We know Shedeur is a quality NFL prospect. He has the talent, but specifically I like this play because of the talent around Shedeur. They went out and got Will Shepard, right? Was the wide receiver 1 at Vanderbilt last season. Travis Hunter's back. Jimmy Horn is back, right? They're 2 of their 3 best, most productive wide receivers last season. And they also got LeJontay Wester, right? So let's just go through these 4 wide receivers. They also have Amarion Miller, who's very talented as well, as the 5th wide receiver. But let's just go through each of these wide receivers and just the potential that they bring to this offense, and obviously opening up Shedeur's ceiling. So Will Shepard last season, 684 yards, 47 catches. The year before that, 60 catches, 776 yards. Very, very productive wide receiver at Vanderbilt last season, right? 684 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's very, very productive for a wide receiver. He's probably going to be the wide receiver 3 in this offense. Jimmy Horn, who may actually be the wide receiver 4. This is a guy that caught 567 yards last season, 58 passes from Shedeur Sanders. He has that familiarity. We know Travis Hunter is going to play both sides of the ball. Last season, he had 721 receiving yards, averaging 12.6 yards per catch on 57 catches. And then the big guy, who I think is going to have a monster year, is LeJontay Wester, right? Transferring from Florida Atlantic, he went crazy last year. 108 catches, 1,168 receiving yards. So Shedeur Sanders has essentially 4 guys that caught over 500 receiving yards at the college football Division I level last season. And he's got 2 guys, obviously, that I think are, chance to be All-Americans in LeJontay Wester and Travis Hunter. So it's a great spot for Shedeur. Obviously, the hit rate last season at home, averaging 336 passing yards. It's a great spot. So 2 plays for this YouTube video, college football Thursday. I'm going to have a Friday video, Saturday video, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're not yet already. But let's get into it. 2x multiplier. Please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.